Hey, happy day. So I thought I'd do the video a little earlier today before all the traffic and the surround sound starts. And as I said, there are the alarms, there's the noise starting. So it kind of resonates with the message today. And I wanted to start by talking about awakening, becoming more aware. So, awareness is when your consciousness develops to a degree where you can have multiple perspectives and you can understand. The gift of the empath is um, understanding the experiential journey and allowing every individual, every being, actually, everything that matters, that is dense matter, earth bound, gravity bound on this planet here and now, Gaia, um, it is every being is having their own experience. So, as you, and their experience is just another experience that you, as a singular entity, cannot have. You can only have more experiences through the collective, and that is the God experience, the God collective. So we are all essentially within ourselves, essence, a God spark, a violet flame. And then we have all these other shades of flames. Green is the only one. It only burns when there's toxic matter involved. However, I'm thinking with green reminds me of when copper starts to discolor, when we don't keep it polished. Often that's when we need to put a lot more love into things. Think about that tarnished brass or metal bowl, which is our heart space, cups, that and that came up in the reading today. See those bowls? Are they upside down or the right way? When they're upside down, they don't collect anything. So if you took this bowl, for example, if I turned it around like this and tried to, nothing happens, right? But if I turn it around so that it can collect air, water, vibration, it can collect matter. If I turn it around and do this, so that explains perfectly. You need to keep your cup in an upright position in order for it to function in its full capacity. If it's upside down, we don't allow it to fill and overflow and affect every other area. And so getting back on track, filling our lives, and everybody playing together. Be aware that you, as a single entity, your personal desire and personal willpower, that's coming up a lot now. Today it surfaced that emperor, and I did videos, I'll put the link below, a few years back already. On a lot of stuff came up on the emperor. It was 2 years ago, and it was all about willpower and divine willpower. And when the cup is down, that would be us imposing our personal willpower, which is very lower vibrational, as you see, versus when we put our cup upright, when we open our heart like a lotus and unfurl it. The more we open it, the wider it is, like a sunflower. The more light we capture, the more warmth we capture, the fuller we are able to express ourselves. And so operating in unison with others allows us to be our, when we are our fullest capacity and our environment supports us in that, then we are able to support the environment in that, and the whole system becomes a positive feedback system. And the first, so awakening. So it is a bit like that lotus. You have to rise up through the muddy depths before you're able to bloom into your most beautiful, fullest capacity, where you're rooted in the mud, in the lower base shark energies, where not much light comes in, but that's okay because they're fish feeding. There's a whole uh, underbelly of a world and life going on. But what the lotus does is, it on the stem, it gracefully rests on the water surface, and it exposes its magnificence, glory. And um, so awakening, my personal experience has been, I had my first um, spiritual awakening at probably about the age of 12 to 14. I can't remember exactly. I haven't gone back to work at art. It was around the time where I was a very happy, clappy Christian. Oh, it was when I was 14. And maybe 15. And I used to go to a youth group, religious union. I was very involved in Christian Union, the organization. So I did a lot of volunteering. I was involved in youth group at my church. So on Friday nights, we always had youth group. On Saturdays, we often hung out together. They were my social crowd. And on Sundays, we had our church youth group, our Sunday morning church group before church, and then we went to church, and then we often hung out together again. And we used to, in the week, send each other Bible verses, and we used to do all kinds of good Christian things, and we used to host each other at each other's houses, and do reverse meals and garage discos. And it was a very contained, safe group. Anyway, every holiday, I had a single parent, and I needed to be carted off to boarding schools or involved in after school activities or whatever to keep me busy, so she could focus on bringing in income to pay the bills. It's tough being a single parent. Anyway, and I had an experience at a Christian Union camp one day. I was sitting on a paddy field. It was in Cape Town, just past St. James, in a, in at a sunset, and I felt this Holy Spirit move through me. And at that stage, I felt reborn. And I have had that experience a couple of times since then, but in the last 6 years, it's happened at least 3 or 4 times. And what I've come to notice is, so I don't sleep very well or very much. I find I process information better in my awake state because I'm conscious and aware, meaning I'm paying attention to the signs, I'm listening, looking, I'm feeling, I'm sensationally being. And so I pay attention to what the energies are talking to me about in my own physical body, or how to respond to life, whether to trust people, places, situations. Um, and it's helped keep me very safe, certainly, and protected, divinely guided and protected. So, what I experienced lately in the last 2 or 3 years, more and more women, particularly, and actually, now that I think about it, a couple of men have become aware of their healing, um, their archetype as healer. We are actually all that. So, welcome. If you wake up to your healing abilities and um, hopefully to your mission and your purpose, and you understand how you can contribute in your divine, most godlike state, then bring it to the table. The time is ripe and ready. There is this idea of the 144,000, and I kind of feel like that it's a healing tribe, and we need to bring as many tribelings to the table to do their skills. There's no competition, everybody adds. We all work on each other, and we all share, and we uplift, all doing what we are called to do on this mission. So the Chariot card, number 7, in fact 7, the Chariot, 7 of Cups, and then another curiosity, we get another 7, which I always say is about choices, the choices that we make. And yeah, this year has been about better choices, and it's at the culmination of that now, assessing the choices we've made. How can we improve upon them? What do we need to let go of, and what can we replace, and what's going to be new that's better? So the Chariot speaks to us about the universe constantly gives us the opportunity to become the person we want to be. It's a magical time for the taking, inspired action. Push ahead with willpower and determination, because you will get there. Remember, inaction is the same as deciding to stay still. And I talked about apathy yesterday in the video. I'll share the link below. The Chariot reminds you that while you're on the way to your goal, you need to make decisions about your best path forward. If you feel pulled in 2 different directions, know that you will be able to coax both of these energies towards the same target. So that's playing your strengths to your weaknesses and the yin to the yang. And again, this came up in reference yesterday. So I love the flow every day, how just all that same thread pulls through. Charging ahead without paying attention to your path can sometimes be harmful to those in your wake. And that's what I said yesterday. Those closest to you are the ones that often are the ones who you can hurt the most, and who will often be hurt the most by your action or lack of action. Charity starts at home. So take care not to trample on others on your way up the mountain. Choose the thing you really want, focus your efforts, and move swiftly. Even if you aren't sure what your direction is, then it is time to make some plans, align goals, and spark dreams. And then the affirmation is, I choose who I am becoming, and I run towards it with conviction and consistent motion. And the next card, the 7 of Cups. And again, if the cups are upside down, I don't like, when we don't just fill one cup, there are many aspects and dimensions. We have relationships. Are all our relationships that we treasure, are we paying attention to them, filling them with loving energy? Are we supporting? Are we being benevolent, caring, kind? And it takes conscious awareness to do that. Things don't just happen. If you want things to happen, you actually have to apply effort, and where attention goes, energy flows. So, it's, and there's your snakes and ladders. And life is a game of snakes and ladders. You win and you lose, but those are the lessons and the blessings. And there's always a gift in adversity. And you'll hear me repeat these same things over and over and over, because, the laws is the laws is. The commandments is the guidebook is the guidebook. I didn't write it. I'm just lucky enough to have access to the library where I can read it and check it out from time to time. So the 7 of Cups says, when you daydream your way into the future, the options that you have in front of you can feel both under and overwhelming. The path from A to Z is often nebulous, and life can present itself like a game of chutes and ladders that brings you down only to lift you up. Your desire to choose the one correct and perfect path can further complicate and muddle your decision, because there is no way to know everything that will spill forth from the cup you choose. Use your intuition to decide, remembering that the temptation of shiny things can be illusionary, and I talked about the other day gold versus gold-plated. While challenging paths will often hold unexpected opportunity. Ask your discerning heart what options honestly stand in front of you today. And that's the theme of facing our personal truths and being real with and changing our perceptions on how we view the landscape, changing our attitudes. And even if things are not exactly as they seem, choosing that which you truly desire will offer the most useful stepping stone right now. Yes, following your heart's desires, choosing to do what you love. Um, yeah, your passions, that will always be rewarding. It doesn't always bring. So, let me explain an example why I made certain choices I made earlier this year. So I started off by wanting to look for a job to have more security, because fall this year is all about falls came up yesterday and today again. And money is about how we represents money, wealth, and sustenance. So about foundation, security, and I thought I would work really hard just doing something I've done before, care work. It's easy, I can do it, it's no problem. And then, I ran myself through the daily grunge of it, and I thought, well, really, my soul, it causes me anxiety. I don't want to do it. It doesn't make me feel nice. My heart's not in it. I'll have money in the bank and perhaps some choices and go traveling for a bit, but it means every day, 300 days a year, I'll be living a life I don't really want to, and a life I don't appreciate. So that evolved into something else and evolved into something else. But mostly what it evolved into is an awareness that exactly that. I need to continue to do what I do and be who I am and offer what I offer, even if the uh, rewards for the past while have not been very, even if my investments do not seem to have brought due rewards. Paying your dues. I feel like I've invested a lot into my business, a lot of time, energy, resources, and it has not taken off or generated that safety and security that I deeply long for and yearn for, which is on Maslow's hierarchy level of needs, basic needs: food, water, shelter, and then, safety and security. So uh, I feel like, this we do really need to honor that, following our heart's desires and filling our cups that way, because when you do what you love, money isn't everything. You satisfied with less, and life does feel so much richer, and you have that much more freedom because you realize how you can take what you have that much further. So it's a real blessing. Um, my wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down to earth way. So, what foundations did we dug? Foundations to build our dream house, our castle. And we had our castle in the sky. We had this idea of what it could be or should be. And sometimes dreams have this warped, surreal, surreality about them, meaning we find ourselves in one space and then morph, and we're able to shapeshift, and time has no relevance, and space has no relevance, and things appear as they are, but not as they are. And we are in a state now where we've had time to process what that castle dream boat is. Well, now it's time to build the boat. I'm thinking Noah's Ark. You are saving yourself. So build your ark. And what animals are you putting in there? And how will you provision your ark? Because come chaos or crisis, which we already encountered and know that we've overcome, and well, how can we do that in the future with more comfort? And how can we be more relaxed and live from a state of abundance, not fear? So that theme plays a lot to do with awakening, because the more you live in a state of loving forgiveness and acceptance and grace and humility and gratitude, the more, again, the less you need, the more fulfilled you are already. Your cup is overflowing. And paying your dues, it says, we have a little saved up from before, a little saved up from the cows, and I will get something for the house. A dot and a dot makes a full part. By Chaim Potok. Shalom Aleichem. And I do love the Jewish culture. I get a lot of support from a very good friend, a long-term friend. Thanks, Mandy. So the money suit, like I said, is about how it represents wealth and sustenance and how we choose to exercise power. It represents the fruit of our labor and calls into question our attitude to wealth. The means by which we acquire it and the way that we use it reflects our values. Oof, that's been coming up a lot too, our values. So question your values. What the fuck are your morals and what are your values? And if you say kindness, then, well, how are you exacting being that? How are you benefacting that and benefiting? Bene, plus, more, and fit, healthy, like adding, mas, plus. Um, so, yeah, your values should serve you. And so, how are you playing to your highest values and not your lowest values? Yes, using your tits and vagina to lure a man through sex to do something to gain, I don't know, stuff or boob job or whatever is cool. But really, is that having the boob job and having the stuff is not going to fill that unloved space that you haven't filled because you didn't choose the value of love, of serving your most loving self and being accepting of flaws, and again understanding our strengths and our weaknesses and playing the yin to the yang in that game. And 4 talks to us about security, building a foundation, and making decisions to relieve tension and anxiety. And really, it is about learning to live a life of pleasure and enjoy this Garden of Eden and being Adam and Eve without the narrative that has been imposed. You get to rewrite the story through the Adam you are and the Eve you are, and how you interplay with each other and this Garden of Eden and all the delights it has to offer. Namaste in the Kesh.